So just to before I go further, just to give you a brief run through of the three themes that we have, right? Growing faith, sharing love, embracing hope. In these 3 years. Last year we focused very much on adult formation. This year we're talking about family catechesis. Next year then we'll look into community. For those of you who catechize, especially the whole salvation history, you will see something similar, right, of how God slowly reveals his plan, right, to Adam and Eve, a couple, then to a family in Noah, right, then after that, bigger and bigger, but we only doing 3 years, so not going to go too far, right? And when we look at this idea of family, and as I was reflecting today, maybe just go through the next two. Right? First one was the growth process of a human person. This year's one is about sharing love. So last year we had a plant that was almost dying. How many were here last year? Great. The rest new. Good. So last year we had a plant that was like half dead, right? To kind of remind us about our adults' faith formation. This year a bit more, right? And we've got flowers. We've got, don't try to eat the pepper. It looks nice, but it's spicy, right? I don't know whether next year we have a whole jungle here, right? But as we look at this, and of course we took the 3 themes, seem to be very much out of what you are doing. Adult catechesis, right? We talk about adult faith formation, ongoing formation. Well, Cardinal shared about. Is it? There's no lah. We're only supposed to do, right, the children, teens, and RCIA. Family, Then now we got to do even more. But this is where, right, I think it's really about changing a mindset. A mindset of what it means to be church, what it means to catechize, and how we are called to move forward. I would say, as I was preparing, what do I want to share? As I said, this is my 6th year doing the launch. Like every year come, somebody asked me, what's this launch about? Go there for what? Right? Go there, see what we did last year. Later we have some certificates to give out. What are we here for? And for me also, it's like, maybe, do we need the launch? Right? I know some is like, this Saturday, got your own DORs. I'm sure some of you are rushing back. Anybody from Holy Fam here? Yeah, Holy Fam, you're having your own DOR and then your own commissioning. Beginning of the year is always stressed. But why are we here? I think one of the things which, as I was waiting for Cardinal to drive in, I was like, people coming in, oh, Father, you're here to welcome us. Right? They said, I'm here to welcome Cardinal. Right? But I think what I felt was, this one, in the first few years, I'm like, who's this person? Which parish is they from? I don't know. Hi. Right? But as this year, as you all were coming in, you're more familiar. Right? Because over these years, you've been coming, and I think this is what we've been wanting to do. Not just family catechesis in terms of you having to go and engage the family and to go and form the families, but this whole idea of forming even us as catechists, as a family. As I was looking up the word family, familiar, to be familiar with someone is to have that close connection, that intimacy, right, that knowledge. And I think this is what we have been doing, right? Charles and Francis have been arranging to meet up with the organizations, and we've been going down to the parishes, and that's where we've been meeting you, right? I've been going to preach weekends, I've done recollections, I think I'm supposed to go to OLPS, AGM, right? And just as what Christ the King was doing, in terms of going down to meet the parents of the children, right? I think for us, that's also what we've been trying to do as office, to go down and meet you. But more than that is also to help you all to link up with each other. And hopefully that events such as this, even the formation, yes, I come to be formed, but when we do our RCIA formation and all that, people start to meet, other parishes, what do you do? How do you do this? And that's where we start to learn from each other. A lot of things that we come and meet you and we learn from you, we share with other parishes, and that's how we want to grow. There's no one perfect answer. There's no, standard way of doing things, right? But that's where we start to learn, and how we start to grow. And so, what Christ the King is doing is a great idea. I'm sure you go back to your catechist will be saying, "Xiao Wei got time," right? But I think what we want to do is to say, hey, look, it is possible. A lot of times when we want to do something, we think, no lah, not possible. Until somebody actually goes and tries it and it's like, hey, how is this being done? Yes, it will take time, it will take energy, but I think the question is, why do we do this? As what Cardinal has said, having good families is but one aspect, but I'm sure you will know, looking at the children that you catechize, especially those that come from families that are living out the faith, usually, I won't say all, but usually are easier, right, to catechize, because the faith is not just a Sunday thing, but something that's going on, right? Simon and Stella, just now the two parents said, these two are those who are involved, they are in a community, ICPE, and their family, their children are very much formed in the faith, Of course, not everybody is going to be like that. Wow, thank you for coming down. Some of them will be like, no, don't bother, don't come. What we are doing is to really build that relationship. And I think that's how we want to share with you for this year. Maybe to start just thinking, right? To not just think, our catechist ministry, we have to do more work. How can you link up with the other parish communities? I don't know whether your parish has a family life, whether they have, NCCs and all that, to see how we can start engaging families. Yes, the sacrament years are important, but maybe that's where it's not just me doing all the work. Whereas what Cardinal was saying is a whole bigger picture. The awareness of the faith being shared in the family. And so after this, when we go down, there's community, but those of you who are not staying for the community, invite you to go to the canteen. And that's where we have a few organizations who are there to share with you what things that we can, not just, or Daughters of St. Paul, there I go and buy some books, but how can you also get to know these organizations so that you can invite them to go to your parish to go and engage your parents, right? And to help to do this promoting of the family life, the catechesis in the family. Okay, so this is something really that we are not saying, okay, from today onwards, everybody must be like Christ the King, go and start doing all this. Right? Maybe you have made newer ideas. We only just, again, right, just share. We don't have that much time to go and share everything. But these are ideas that we have, and hopefully in the year we can learn from you also so that we can share the new ideas. We go next slide. Oh yeah, it's all about So I've not watched Fast and Furious, but I know in the later sequels and all that, right, it's all about family. Okay, so we come together, we are stronger, and this is where I really want to invite, as in your district levels, and hopefully in the future in the diocese levels, this is where more collaboration can happen. Okay, next. Okay, the scripture quote that we use for this year, right, from Deuteronomy. Yes, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, all your might. Keep these words. But it also adds on. Recite them to your children. Talk about them when you're home, when you're away, when you lie down, when you rise. And so as you engage your parents too. So that's why you said last year was about adult faith formation. If our adults are not formed, of course they can't handle on the faith. But now this question is also, how can we encourage parents to be handing on the faith in their homes? right? The faith that they live out. From Pope John Paul II, next slide. It tells us in sharing love, the Christian community as family of families to live out their own identity and mission, to proclaim the gospel by being a school of social living as a community of love, a school of social virtues, a school of following Christ, a school of prayer. In their children, parents fulfill their mission of building up the church. So how do we share this with the parents? Because it's so easy to just outsource. Education even, our parents either outsource to school or outsource to the tuition center, and parents are not involved. A simple example will be how MOE, right, started to teach students how to clean the classroom. And then parents were like, wow, very good. Now my child come home, is able to, help me with the housework. I'm like, wow, you will never teach your child this, the school might teach this, right? A bit funny, right? But the same thing is this. How many of you encounter kids who don't even know how to make the sign of the cross? They don't even, and because 2/3 of our marriages are mixed marriages, right? So there is that difficulty already of not one parent not living out the faith, but the question is, even if both are Catholic, are they living out the faith? So how can we do this to help them to recognize their role to hand on the faith? So as Charles said, next slide, each engagement be an encounter to excite the parents to share God's love in their daily and family life. This is what we hope that you keep in the back of your mind, right? Whether it be home visits, whether it be when they come to register, when you have your first communion, your confirmation briefings and all that, let it not just be information. But how can it be a time to encounter? How can you, right, as what Bishop was saying, are you concerned about delivering a curriculum, a program? Or are you there to be concerned about the faith of the person? So this year we are want to encourage you to not just look at the child, right, or those who are catechizing, but the family. I just came back from Johor yesterday. We had a seminary formators meeting. So Kuching, Penang, Singapore, all the formators came together and we were sharing, right, about forming our seminarians. And what Kuching Seminary was doing is they also got a family day. I said, your seminarians? Yeah, not just for the seminarians, but they also invite the parents to come and they do recollections for the parents. And I was like, wow. So as much as Christ the King stressed you out, then Father Vel was like, should we do this for our parents? How? Will they come? He said, yeah, but how can we not just, oh, hi, we do a party and just all, but how can we also want to engage them? Okay, so just something to think about. And so briefly, highlights for this year. Okay, we'll be sharing with you things about planning, parent engagement. I know some parishes are already doing it, but good to come and to hear ideas as well as to share ideas that we have. Okay, a Bible camp. Last year, I think West District organized a Bible camp, and so this year we want to share, right, what they've done with that. I know of Belief Ministry also does Bible camps and all. So these are things that we want to share with you, ideas that you can run, okay, for the children, also maybe with the families. New Testament, we are having a new course on the Synoptic Gospels. How do the three Gospels, why are there three Gospels? How do we understand this? So Father Vel, very enthusiastic, he said, our catechists need to know more, and so he came out with a new course. We continue with this, the planning of confirmation retreat for youth, so for the youth level. And as mentioned, those families with mixed marriages. So we are working with ADEC, the Archdiocese Interreligious Office, to see, how can we help families that are mixed marriage, different religions, how to live it out, as well as how the faith can continue to be spread through there. Next. ICPCM will still continue, but we are also exploring a possible day version. Most of our ICP is either the intensive weekends or the weekday nights. We do know some people are saying, can we have in the weekday daytime, where some who may not be working may want to come. So this is something that we are exploring. Our annual retreat this year, unfortunately, 1st of May is not a long weekend. It falls in the middle of the week. So we are putting it on the weekend of 26 to 28 April. We're having a new course on the overview of church history. We're doing the Introduction to Virtues. And this year, we thank St. Mary of the Angels and the Church of Divine Mercy for hosting the rite of election. So for the RCIA people. Okay, so these are just the main new things that we are having for this year, and the rest of it still continues. We are not cancelling those courses. We still have those, but I think, as mentioned, we really want to build up this whole idea of the catechist family, right? So hopefully within your parish, how can you build up this sense of community, of family, right? Maybe even the coordinator need to go and visit the catechist homes first, right? It's like, but I will say that's where, right? Because we have experienced that, then slowly you understand the benefit, right? Like I said, when we've gone down to visit the parishes, that's where we get to know you all as coordinators. I can share with you different. Some is just, the coordinators and the priests. Sometimes the priest not there. The biggest one was OLPS. Every level, two catechists came. Then we like one big meeting, But yeah, again, this is where it was a real nice time for me to, for us as an office to get to know you all. And that's where when we start to build up this relationship, more communication happens. Yes, more work for us, but I think that's a good thing. Okay? When you know the person, when you have this familiar relationship, right, more can be done. More questions, more ideas, and we hope that, this will continue. So hopefully, as much as you are also looking into engaging the families, maybe also to look at the catechists as a family. What can we do to build this? I know there are some parishes where, the catechists don't even meet. And I ask them, so when's your day of recollection? Oh, Father, we don't have. Then I'm like, so how, right? What can we do? I said, I don't mind coming. So we hope that to have more, again, this kind of chit-chats, right? So it's not an audit, not a time to come and question, but really to build relationships. Okay, so we hope you have a very blessed year, and that we continue to grow in our faith and continue to share love. Thank you.